Some manners are so outdated and shouldn't be a thing. Wearing hats inside, why is it rude? It's a piece of fabric on somebody's head. Sunglasses inside? It's a piece of plastic on somebody's face. I can kind of get this one. Because somebody can't see your eyes. I don't know though. Elbows on the table? What if somebody just got home from work? They haven't slept and they just want to relax and have their elbows on the table when they're about to eat? Not making eye contact isn't rude either. Some people like myself suffer with autism and anxiety, which makes eye contact very difficult. If people in the comments say it's just rude, that's not valid. People shouldn't be scolded for something so small and insignificant. Saying thank you, please, you're welcome and excuse me is not outdated, and it's good to be polite. Don't forget that. Sunglasses inside. Are you that one kid from the Am I the Asshole? Quinceañera post? I wear hats all the time. But it's definitely situational. At the grocery store or a casual eatery. A high-end steakhouse. No. Sometimes you've just gotta be able to read the room. This is somewhat similar to tradition, which is simply peer pressure from dead people. Manners are not all about utility. They are gestures to show respect to others. You do the stupid, meaningless actions to show you care enough about the other people in the room to do these meaningless actions. Like taking off a hat, bowing, saying Mr. Gives society a quick way to identify the individuals who might have a disregard for others. I wear sunglasses instead if I'm just running in because I have bad eyes and I don't want to change out to my regular glasses. Agreed. Some practices are outdated and should be retired. But manners are not just rituals to feel superior to others and thus make you feel good about yourself. The basis for manners are practices to make others feel comfortable around you. Average Redditor, to hell with you and your stupid rules. Traditions. Habits. I'll do whatever I want. And I'm on the spectrum. So I also have a medical excuse for that. Also, average Redditor, why can't I have friends? What's wrong with people? I don't know if it is unpopular, but I agree. The only reason for manners is to make everyone feel comfortable. If everyone is comfortable and having a good time, then whatever you are doing is polite. People that want you to do things just for the sake of doing them are pretentious and actually really impolite. I can kind of see sunglasses inside being considered rude, creepy. Only because I've encountered men who brag about wearing them indoors so people can't tell they're staring at women. I also caught a guy on the subway doing that. Hats are considered rude because it implies that you are leaving. You take your hat off and coat off so you don't appear like you're trying to leave. I love hats so. And it no longer has that meaning. Not making eye contact isn't rude either. Some people like myself suffer with autism and anxiety, which makes eye contact very difficult. It just appears that you are a dishonest person. As someone who is 23, I appreciate it if people take off their hats or sunglasses inside. I'm not gonna ask them to do it because it's not my place to tell them how to handle themselves. But it still makes me a little happy if I see someone who does. It is something I always do subconsciously. And maybe that's because I come in contact with a lot of older people who also really appreciate those gestures. You don't need to do it. But if you get invited to someone else's house, then it's polite to follow these rules because you're inside their house. In other places, do what you like. The whole wearing hats inside thing was the biggest deal in high school, to the point my high school's assistant principal was standing at the door yelling at kids to take their hats off before they even got to the door. Got to college and no one cared about hats on inside. What does no hats inside prove? Unless it's a blind person. Sunglasses inside look incredibly douchey. Hats inside don't bother me unless it's a formal setting. Then it's not so much about having a hat on as it is how informal baseball caps and beanies look. Not sure if sunglasses indoors is impolite, but it is most definitely top of the list in doucheness. Sunglasses. It feels like if someone talking to me is wearing sunglasses, it's flat out disrespectful. That actually sums it up. Common custom and courtesy does or should evolve with the times. Especially the fact that some of these things are pretty insignificant. There's definitely more to worry about in life. I have always viewed manners as an equalizer. If we all know the rules of conduct, then nobody will ever be left out or insulted. If everyone understands that you never pet another person's dog without asking first because they may be a service animal, then awkward situations are lessened. Manners have a purpose, and no, not all old manners are relevant today. Shaking hands post-COVID, I would argue, is no longer standard, but manners works to lessen conflict and maintain common understanding between people. It's important to observe tradition, even practice it when applicable, but do not let it control any part of your life. This is 2023. Things are different, and I absolutely do not give a fuck what people did 1,000 years ago, or 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago. It holds no bearing on me. I wear sunglasses inside because they're prescription, and I forgot my regular glasses in the car. I only wear sunglasses inside when I forget my glasses. They are both prescription, and sometimes I just forget them. I'll try to take my sunnies off, but then I feel more rude 'cause I can't see their face to look at them properly. I'm close with someone who has similar issues with eye contact, especially when one of us is upset. It's very hard for me to deal with it because it feels like they're not paying attention and disregarding my feelings. It feels very disrespectful, even though I know this is not their intention. Farting in public? Saying bless you. I hate when someone sarcastically says God bless me when they sneeze or flat out says I guess people have no manners when I choose to just ignore the sneeze. Do I say anything when you fart or cough or breathe or blink or any other bodily function? Then who cares if your body is throwing out some schmuck from your nose? I'm going through a training guide for a new job, and on like 4 separate occasions it mentions hands in pockets. Totally agree. Not a fan of our unofficial societal rules. I like drinking straight from the bottle. The elbow on tables thing comes from old social rules. Cheaper tables would have only one post, and so would be unbalanced by someone leaning on them. It was seen as uncouth to be the person tipping it. Hats imply outside, so keeping one on implies you're not staying. Rules, without them we live with the animals. Elbows on the table is rude? Since when? Why? I once looked up why we don't put our elbows on the table. Something my stepmom yelled at me for constantly as a kid. It's because way back in the Victorian era, I'm pretty sure some people had such flimsy tables that they found it rude for you to put the food in jeopardy of falling by having your elbows on the table. Our tables have been fucking fine for years. It's stupid. I am honestly sick of all of these illogical social rules to the point where I actively reject them. Seriously. When you really stop to think about it, do any of these things actually matter? They're just things people made up long before any of us were born. Seriously. Enough with this constant superficial protocol. I just don't understand it. Why can't we just be ourselves instead, or making every interaction overly complicated? We are allowing something completely subjective to rule over us.